what I've learned this August is quite incredible actually. I think I'm learning about my roots and the dimensions that I'm able to and not able to travel. Not because I can't, but because it just doesn't feel good. I'm understanding what feels good and what feels meh, and that's the main thing that I think August is still teaching me as I'm in the last couple of days of August now, and I've just arrived in Poland. I'm in Katowice in Poland, and I'm awesome. Like, this is such a good feeling. This whole month has been such a run around, and I've noticed that I do not care for things that other people care for. But I still sort of try and meet them halfway. And there's lots of people that I really love and enjoy for only a small time, because I've actually noticed that my filtering system is getting very fast. So the more I know about you and the faster I can channel and connect to you, the less I need. This is also incredible because I've gotten to know myself incredibly well in the last few days, especially through not wanting to be somewhere. I notice also there is a huge difference between cultures that I never seen before. And it is not a personal thing, it's just a cultural thing. And I've never really thought of culture because I've always been in incredibly metropolitan cities where there's been lots of people from all over the world, and I got used to having almost no culture, no roots in New Zealand and Australia. But here in Europe, I'm actually understanding that Western Europe and Eastern Europe have a huge difference. And today I was on a bus that only took me 7 hours to go from Vienna to Katowice, and I actually noticed the change in temperature. Better to say, I noticed the change in timbre, and the timbre of the energy, of the voice of the collective mind, and it made me feel so much more. In Vienna, I actually did not want to show my face outside. I just did not want. I just stayed in the hotel room and I couldn't leave. I heard somebody say a long time ago that language forms us. I never felt it was true. I just thought that people were people, and there was never a difference for me. But it feels so good, so like awesome being here in the Slavic side of things, in a Slavic culture, because I recognize myself here. And it feels to me I don't have to explain myself, and it's almost like I'm already bonded to the land. Before I really got to explore, I already felt bonded to it. The first time I went to Poland, I just ate. I just felt at home and I ate so much food, and I just felt like consuming was good because it felt to me that I was in a process of growth. And this time it feels to me more of a physical transformation and an internal one as well. It feels to me, or it felt to me, that August has taught me the main rule about me is that I usually know exactly what's what and how to in the first second, in the first glance with a person, and I have to trust that. I think I've known a lot more than I believed I knew, but I still compromised, and I feel that's something that you might be able to see in yourself too. Because we're going through an interesting shift, I feel, where we are encouraged not to compromise anymore and to pull our heads out of our butts as well, and not to try and make other people compromise with us. And I feel a lot of us don't trust ourselves because we've been taught to compromise most of our lives. And it feels to me that I've been taught a lot about me as a woman and about me as a foreigner as well, that there is no rule for me. I have to kind of face people and let them make the choice. In Australia, when I lived in Australia, I would let other people choose me, and I would just be chosen by people, and I would let them guide me however they felt that I should be. And that was really destructive to my timeline. But I didn't really want to say that to myself until it happened to me recently as well with a friend of mine here in the West, and it made me feel really, really uncomfortable as to who I was. Because I keep on reforming my relationships with people based on an immigrant's mentality. It's like, well, if you're kind to me, I'll be 3 times kinder to you. And that's actually something that's really, really far out. I never really thought it existed inside. An internal void where one can be placed into any circumstance because they aren't welcome or they feel unwelcome where they are. And this is something that's been bugging me for a while, the whole idea of roots and culture, because I've always felt like people were just people and there was absolutely nothing that set us apart, but there are differences. And it's not just in language or in the roots, there is something more. It feels to me there is something there, like if you don't feel totally at home, if you don't feel united with the people that you're with, it doesn't quite serve us. So I had this theory. If you're immigrating to a country, that's fine, but you have to sort of make sure that you're liking the natural law of the land, the nature of the land, and also the people and how they communicate and how they behave with each other. And there is no choice otherwise. It feels to me, or it felt really strong actually this August, that people don't usually think that. They don't think in terms of what does this nature give me, or where are these people at, or what's the local culture. They think I can overwrite it. And even if they belong to, say, for example, a nation that has not been colonized and is not colony-based, not colony-minded, they think they can colonize another place sometimes, I've noticed, or they subserve automatically. As I feel that people should always know their strength and their weakness and where they fit with the current culture or the current energy. Here in Poland, I fit, and I don't know what it is. I just feel that people walk around with a smile and they greet me like one of their own. It's almost like I got adopted. It's a similar vibration as I got in India, actually. It's really interesting because there is like an inner set feeling towards the land and towards the culture. It's like a merging that happens with me and certain types of energies, and it's just remarkable. But then there are certain times when I know that I'm looked at as a pest. And there are times where I felt like that in Germany, and there are definitely times that I felt like that in England as well. But the thing is, it's not really about me, it's more about the people and certain types of energies in land that are susceptible to having people on it and not. There's some land that cultivated with people that doesn't need people on it. It can't support many people. It feels to me that New Zealand is one of those places. I also think that Australia should be repopulated with the indigenous people, so there is a nice base of indigenous culture there. I think there's lots of places in the world that are really, really wrongly populated, and things that are going on the land and influencing the karma of the people that live on it in a really weird way. What I felt in Vienna was really interesting, and I've never actually felt it before, as an incredible indigenous vibe and a really, really interesting introverted Wicca, almost like this energy of being between the lines, between language, between barriers with people. There was like almost like a telepathy that I haven't felt before. The last time I felt something similar was in Bali, but in a more strong, extreme way. But that also is masked but by a lot of corruption, a lot of political stuff, and a lot of Illuminati energy in Vienna, which was really fascinating to see, and I could not live in that energy. I couldn't set my foot outside, and I thought there was something wrong with me. I actually thought I was sick. There was something wrong with my body, so I spent most of the day sleeping, and it was really, really weird, fascinating actually, making a choice to come back to Poland again, and here I'm like at 120% in comparison to where I was. I guess what I'm trying to say here is your roots, where you live, and the connection you have with your spirit with the land, and the land with you, the people with you, and you with the people is the most important thing, because we're all a giant petri dish. We're all bacteria, and certain bacteria live in certain environments. It's not like a race thing, and it's not a colony thing. It's just that some people are not meant to live in certain places. For me, I know that, for example, if I moved to England, I would die or just dry up and fall off. Not because there's anything against England, it's just I know that I don't fit in as an energy in that vibration. If I went to New Zealand again, back to New Zealand, I just know also, judging by my astrology, there would be a lot of phenomena taking place that I don't need to be part of. It doesn't make sense. I feel with us, there is an important part of us I feel that's missing sometimes when we immigrate, when we're young, and it feels to me that also when we've got like one parent from one country and another from another, and we are born on some other sort of middle ground soil, that's also not very good. so I'm kind of like thinking about this today, I guess, as I got to Poland. Why do we not think in those terms? You know, I've seen like my mother and many immigrants try somewhere where they get like a really nice quality of life, you know, first world experience, but there is nothing behind it. And they don't feel it. They don't want to admit to themselves that they're not in the right place. I mean, I've spent 30 years of my life trying to fit into those Australasian environments that weren't really fit for my energy, and I knew it, but I couldn't believe it. I thought there was surely something else. I had to change me in order to fit, but you can't change yourself. I feel that there are certain types of energies that are compatible with us and that are not compatible with us, and I don't really think that people understand how important it is. Also because everything is westernized and we're thinking in terms of where is the best pay, you know, where are the biggest houses, where is more people, or where is more fun, or maybe where is the cheapest prices, where is the cleanest ecology. We're thinking about Earth and each other like commodity. We're just thinking about each other like commodity, and we don't quite know what we want. And that's actually something that I really came to face with in August, is that people are blind to the quality of life they're living because they're too concerned about the label and the packaging. They're looking at the packaging of a country and not the actual infrastructure, which is not a governmental or a physical one, it's an internal one. It's underneath. It's almost like a fungus. If you can imagine a fungus, the web is underneath the ground. You don't see the web. All you see is the mushrooms or the fungus that comes up as fruit, as it fruits. But that's not the point. This is not even the point. I actually have a feeling that what we need is our own DNA reconnected to us over some time, at least once or twice in a decade. We need to come back to the homeland, or at least some type of emotional connection or physical, some kind of connection to that which is ours genetically. And this is not a racial thing, this is not an ethnic thing. It is just wise, because that's the passage of your ancestors through space and time for, you know, thousands of years, and here you are in the last, say, 100 or 200 years, able to live in different places around the world, you know, in different places that belong to different people. And this is really harsh, because I'm actually understanding that a colonial life isn't really a life, because it isn't full. And this is not something that I judge, and this is not, I can't judge it, because it's just how it is. But this is not a life. A colonial experience is a half-life. Not because it is not yours, what you are standing on, or what you're living on. It isn't that. It is just because it isn't laced to you, and it is not yours as well. So where you are from, like where your ancestors are from, is your frequency, and it's not a racial thing. It is just basic. It is basic. You see thousands of years of your evolution through your ancestry and the people before them, and all the tales, all the myths, and all the stories that were spun about you before you were born. You are part of the stories. You are the part that you're playing now, because of these people talking about you before you were born. They told stories of the wonderful knights, you know, and the beautiful princesses, and the common people, and the mermaids, you know, and the people that lived in the forest. And they are yours, these stories that your people have spun, because they have invited you into creation. They have dreamt you. Dreamtime is an Aboriginal term, yeah, but it is not just there. It is just prevalent because they haven't been touched by other cultures for a long time before they got wiped out. They are the people that remember. Dreamtime is a concept, truly, you know, because they're very crystalline people. We are not in a dream time. We are not anywhere if we can't connect to the dream time. We do not exist. Because Because if I'm living in New Zealand and there is myths like of Papatūānuku and Tane and all of that, they have nothing to do with the energy that I have. So me being in a place like New Zealand or Australia, it isn't real because my dream time isn't there. My dream time is in Poland, it's in Russia, it's in Latvia, it's in more than enough places, but they're not somewhere that's been colonized, even by people that look like me. Just because people in the world look like you does not make them like you. And that is an interesting thing that I've actually noticed, especially in Germany and Austria. I'm not like those people, even though their stories might be the same or similar to the ones that my ancestors have told. It feels to me that when I'm here in Germany or Austria, in this part of the world, I don't hear myself think, because people are thinking different things. Perhaps because the language has molded their consciousness in a different way. But where they are is no different from me. It's just that there's walls, and I don't know what that is. But this is perfect for me now to understand that, because I think I've always known that there was something wrong with me. And I've tried, and I really feared that there was something wrong with my attitude, as I've always been told time and time again by the elders of my community growing up in New Zealand that I was wrong. But the thing is, I had no place to be. I had nobody, and I could have only just fit, and only just have made the right type of choices and the right type of moves in order to kind of present myself as half Kiwi and half Russian, not to offend anybody. But the thing is, it's not about offending anybody. It's not about difference or indifference. It's actually about you and your life. Where are you? Where are you? What are you doing? And why are you still there? I mean, I have a feeling that most of us are really eluded these days because everything is so strong. We have McDonald's and BP around every corner in every country of the world. We've got the Western lifestyle, we've got Subway, we've got banks, we've got all those things that people think are of value. But where does it place you? How do you feel? How do you feel? And I think this is it. Back in Poland, actually, at the end of August, and I'm feeling good. I feel like I've needed this, and I didn't actually know that I did. Tomorrow's another day. Another, probably just a minor thing. We input a lot because we've got a smorgasbord in front of us. We have a smorgasbord and we input a lot just because it's in front of us. And it's international standards, it's international stuff. Internationally, everybody eats meat and drinks milk. Internationally, everybody drives cars and goes to McDonald's. Everybody does the things that they do. But that's not it. That's not it. And I've been tired and really kind of sick coming down into the last part of August, feeling what was wrong with me. And I think that my fault was that I kept on choosing things because I thought I was needed to choose. And whatever was in front of me was accepted. Whatever in front of me was accepted. And looking back actually at my family, at my emotional relationships with people, I've always accepted because I thought that was all I could do. But this time is different. I feel this time August has taught me that I don't need to accept things just because they're there. Because I already have everything that I need. You don't have to go with a McDonald's chain, with the concepts that people are spinning for you. You don't need to calcify yourself through colonial experience because the whole world is colonized by now. Everything is just part of a big system that just works on itself. You don't need to work through what people give you to do. Get in touch with yourself, see yourself. There are so many tiny little strands of you that are talking to you at all times. They're tiny little wishes and tiny little hints of who you are. Follow those and I feel you'll find yourself as well. I hope that August was as good for you as it was for me. Thanks. Bye.